All right, welcome back to the Make or Break workshop. And this week we're gonna be working on a wooden mallet. This is a fun project. We're using some poplar and some walnut scraps that I had left over. It's gonna be a cool addition to the shop. So let's dive in. A lot of people call these jointers mallets, and I've got a bunch of scrap wood from other projects chilling around in here. I think this is just poplar. The idea is I'm going to cut out some different pieces of poplar. It's gonna be about that thick. There's gonna be a hole right in the middle. That's where the handle's gonna go. Glue it all together. And then the fun part is actually to make it a little bit heavier, because this is heavy but still not super heavy, is we're going to use lead BBs. Some people will use drill press. I don't have a drill press, but it's a Forstner bit, so you can hog it. Ow, that is super sharp. Don't ever hit that. My gosh. That's gonna hog out some material. Then we're going to fill the BBs in, glue this stuff together, and then make the handle. All right, so this is day 2 of the build. Last night I had some stuff up in clamps, bunch of clamps on it, but basically you got the mallet head, which is chilling right there. I'm about to pull that out of the clamps. And I also glued together a couple pieces of walnut, and this is what the handle is gonna turn into. So we're gonna take these out of the clamps. Then we're going to clean up the actual head of the mallet. We're gonna sand that down, kind of shape it a little bit to make it look nice. And then the walnut piece, we're gonna cut basically a tenon, and we're gonna make a little shoulder so that it slides, kind of butts up right up against it. All right, so we're going to cut close to the line. Basically gonna do one cut on one side, one cut on the other side, and then we're going to get on this one as well. And I'm not gonna get right on the line, I'm actually gonna sneak up on it. So I'm a little bit off of it right now, and then we're gonna get a little bit closer. Goes in nice and tight. I'm about to go through and cut through the shoulder right here, now that I've got the line that I know is gonna fit all the way through. All right, so we basically have this pretty much cut to fit. Something you're gonna start noticing as I put this together. Can you hear that? I basically made a glorified rattle. So there's lead BBs, and I guess I didn't pack it down far enough. So it's got a nice little rattle as you do it. So I'm gonna call this my big baby mallet rattle, but it's pretty much cut down. This will slide in. I don't wanna take it all the way through, but it pretty much has a fairly good fit to it. Now what I'm gonna do is shape this, because my hand, not really like THOR, although this is kind of a fun Thor's hammer. But I'm gonna take this, I'm going to mark it up, and I'm actually gonna turn it on the lathe, which is right there. So let's find the center point, put it up in the chop, turn the lathe, and we're actually gonna turn this down to make it a cooler handle. I don't really know what I'm gonna make yet, but I'm just gonna kinda wing it. So just use the lathe, which is always fun because I get to put this crazy thing on. I look fancy. This is basically what I made. Didn't really have a plan going into it. These lines aren't really all symmetrical, whatever. They aren't even, but it kind of looks cool. Almost feels like a sword almost. Where's the mallet head? So when I drop it on, I think it's gonna actually be pretty cool. Pretty ridiculous. All right, actually feels really cool. All right, so actually with sanding it, and I realized I actually sanded it down a little bit too much, so it's a little bit looser than I wish it was. But the good part is you're not gonna be able to see that gap. And I'm actually going to do a wedge on this end. So it actually does have a good size gap. I did that 2-degree angle. So this is actually angled, that cut is angled that way. And then what I'm going to do is actually put a couple holes in that way. So we've got everything cut. And as you can see, it's not a super tight fit. Now this gap is actually supposed to be there because I've cut those wedges, and what we're gonna do is actually cut out a wedge, you can see right there. We're gonna cut it with a jigsaw, and those are gonna wedge in there, and that's gonna expand that out, and we're gonna drive it all the way down this. All right, so we've got the wedges cut, and I'm gonna try to wedge them in. This would be the perfect task for a mallet, which is this is gonna turn into. So you can see that wedge pushed the gap out. So that is a pretty tight fit. There is no way this is coming out. Now all I gotta do, trim it actually the whole way, and then I need to trim this off at the bottom. Gonna add a little bit of a corner to this and kind of sand the whole thing. And we are pretty much good to go. It is time to drop some finish onto the sky. We got it sanded and added a little bit of a smoother edge. So now we're going to use some tung oil. Again, it's not gonna really be a super fancy finish because this is gonna be a tool in the workshop. We'll make it look a little bit nicer. And one of my favorite things is to drop oil on walnut. It makes it look really nice. All right guys, the project is done. The mallet is actually finished. Some things I would do differently. First off, would make it rattle. And actually, I kind of want to try making it from a solid piece of wood. So I'd actually do a mortise through there. So make a big hole through there and then do the tenon like I did before. Another thing I would actually change is the grip. So I kind of wish I extended this a little bit further up because I'm winding up holding it about right there. But I guess this is good for more leverage. You can really whack. And this one, you kind of get a little bit more fine control. This actually was really fun doing it with this. I've never done a wedged mortise before. I'm not totally sure what happened, but my actual wedges weren't straight. And so you got that kind of curve that's going on right there, which is weird. Maybe something else I would actually change as well as the bottom. Maybe making that flat or a little bit wider so it could actually sit right side up. But now, put it upside down. Actually works fine. But yeah, this was pretty good. So if you guys have any ideas on how I can make this better for the future or another project, just leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you guys like what I'm doing, just make sure and hit that subscribe button below. Give me a thumbs up. So until next time, go make something or break it.